9 days before Christmas, one cold winter day, December 16, 1773, angered colonists disguised themselves as Mohawk Indians and took charge in a catastrophic event that would result in damaging the culture and economics of Britain. This event also served as a major factor leading to the American Revolution. This event would be known for years later as the Boston Tea Party. Here are visuals of the colonists that were involved in the Boston Tea Party. The situation initially occurred because many European colonists were frustrated by the regulations set in place by the Tea Act, which was organized by British Parliament. The Tea Act organized a tax on all tea sold to the colonists. This act frustrated the tea-buying public of America, although the price of the tea purchased through the Tea Act costed less in total than it costed for the colonists to buy illegal tea from Dutch smugglers. One specific group called the Sons of Liberty made it their goal to stop the taxed tea from entering America. The Sons of Liberty group was led by the patriotic leader Samuel Adams. Samuel Adams led the Tea Party, which consisted of about 60 men, once the 3 ships refused to leave the Boston port. The members of the Sons of Liberty were dedicated to preserving the individual rights of the colonists, and as a result of this, took drastic measures to fight taxation from the British Parliament. Typically, the Sons of Liberty members would show their disapproval for the Tea Act by threatening the individual British tea sellers. The colonists would threaten the tea sellers from Britain by tarring and feathering them. When the 3 specific ships called the Dartmouth, the Eleanor, and the Beaver drifted into the Boston port, the colonists decided to take a harsher approach to show their defiance of the act.
They look really bad. Now
Giving into their frustration with the Tea Act, members of the Sons of Liberty disguised themselves as Mohawk Indians and raided 3 British tea ships that were unoccupied by the British. The ships were stationed in a harbor in Boston at midnight. The raid took place. Transforming from their traditional clothing styles that consisted of simple linens, breeches, tricorn hats, overcoats, and accessories, the colonists dressed in an Indian costume. The costume itself replicated the Mohawk Indian tribe and consisted of assorted blankets and ash rubbed on the face. By disguising themselves as Mohawk Indians as best they could, the colonists attempted to divert the initial punishment they predicted would result onto the Mohawk Indian tribe. By dressing in the alternative style in order to divert the blame, the colonists show that they are aware of the damage their crime will cause. As well as diverting the initial blame, by dressing as the Mohawk Indians, the members were showing that they identified with the American identity and felt like separating themselves from the British dress. Because of this obvious identification transformation, the colonists attacked the relationship between the Britain and America economically as well as socially. At midnight, the disguised colonists broke onto the ship, armed with axes and hatchets, and dumped all of 92,000 pounds of tea into the Boston harbor. This tea belonged to the British East India Tea Company. The tea was extremely valuable, and the drastic action that the Sons of Liberty took infuriated the British and sparked a harsh law to punish all of the colonists. The laws passed after the Boston Tea Party were called the Coercive Acts, but the colonists nicknamed them the Intolerable Acts because of how outrageous they viewed the acts. In all, the numerical loss allotted to about $12,975.90 in U.S. currency, which is equivalent to $700,000 in today's currency. All of this was lost in Boston's harbor. The colonists ended up dumping 342 barrels of tea into the harbor, In the end, the colonists acted without considering the punishments that could be imposed on them because of their actions and were purely fighting for the economic rights of America.